Welcome to WP Means Business Bite-Sized Webinars. Today we're going to look at WordPress menus. If you haven't already done it, please visit wpmeansbusiness.com where you can sign up for the weekly schedule. So let's have a look at menus. So this is my demonstration site. As you can see at the moment, the menu is kind of got everything under the sun in it. Every page has kind of been dumped out. That's fairly typical of what happens with the theme when you don't set the menus correctly. So if we switch to the menu admin side of things, you'll see it's under appearance and menus. If you haven't got that option, it probably means that you're not an administrator and you need to get logged in with an administrator account to do this, or you haven't been given access. There are other ways of giving you access, but mostly it's about giving you an administrator account. So there are two sides to this menu system. There's a column here which is has two functions in its own right, which is to link up a menu. The menus are designed on the right. This block at the top is there to link your menu. So I have a menu called main with your theme. You may well have different things here depending on your theme. If it's an old theme, this may well be disabled, in which case you need to upgrade your theme to something that supports proper menus. So you may well have a top menu, a primary menu, a footer menu, so you can create these on the right and link them up on the left and then save it away. So if we do that, you'll see we've got a very simple menu here. If we refresh, there you go, we've got a much smaller menu with a sub-menu going on here. Let me show you that. We'll look at sub-menus in a minute. So the main thing that before you get started with basically taking things from the left-hand column and dragging them into the right page, you need to configure what you actually see in this column down here. Now I have a shop installed, WooCommerce, so I've got some shop options which I'm just going to turn off to now to make it simpler. And I want to see some pages, don't want to see the products, and I do want to see the category pages. So that's what this top area, what's shown on the screen, is about. We'll come back to the advanced menu properties in a minute. Right, so now you can see we've got categories, we've got pages, we've got our posts. So what you do is you basically say, oh, I'd like to have that post on the menu. I'd like to have that page, and that page on the menu. And I'd like that category. So that's kind of put those all into here. We can then say, well, actually, let's just make these, make some sub-menus. So you can see where you indent, that actually makes a sub-menu. If you indent a second level, it'll create a sub-menu. So we'll leave one of those. You can drag these around in any order. And when you're done, you save it, and then it should be set up. So there's our sub-menu underneath test SP1. So the actual design of what the menu looks like is dependent on your theme. So that's our first little menu. You can create your own menus from scratch using that plus button. So I'm going to create one called custom menu, which we'll use in a minute. Let's just add a few things across. So we'll put some of those posts across. There is a section here called custom links, so you can do things like if I want to link to the BBC, or it could be another page, a special page on your site with special code. If you can get yourself there, cut and paste it into this, then you can enter it. I'm just going to, there's a little drop down section for each of these. I'm just going to tick open a new window, which is quite appropriate for the BBC. I'm going to change it so that for the moment, let's just have a look at the menu. I'm going to put that one on the menu at the top so you can see how that works. So now we should have a shorter menu. And a link to the BBC, and if I click on it, it opens up a new tab. But you may or may not do that. Let's just put that one back to main. And let's just go back to the main menu here and have a look at doing some editing on that page. So as I say, you can drag and drop things. If you don't like them, you just change them, save them away. There is an option to add any new pages, any new top level pages, any parent pages. to your menu. Generally I don't tick that because you end up with things growing that you didn't really necessarily want to have. The other options under screen options that we mentioned before, that link target is the option to have whether it opens in another window or not. So that's you can see it changing it. The other thing that's useful is some themes have an ability to add a description. So you have a short menu name and a little small description appearing underneath. That's what that does. If you're doing some styling, you may well need that option. Again, your theme will tell you whether you need it or not. But that's where they're hidden, under that little secret screen options page. So that's how you create a menu. The other uses for menus are on your widget settings. So if we go over to widgets, there'll be a separate video on widgets themselves to help you understand, but you can do things like create custom menus that you might want to appear in the sidebar. So if you had a list of related products or something like that, so let's call it related products, you can then use one of your menus in the sidebar, and we'll show you what that looks like now. So there's our other menu that we just created with that link to the BBC, which opens up a new tab exactly as it did before. So it's quite useful if you want to create things. The styling again of this is dependent on your theme. So that's giving you a bit of an overview of WordPress menus. I hope you found that useful. There are other bigger menus that you can use. So if you go to wpmeansbusiness.com, you'll see an example of what's called an Uber menu, where it has a lot more detail and a lot more things on it, and things in columns, and you can add in things like Google Maps or forms or video. If you have a look at that, you'll get a good idea of some of the sort of things you can do if you really want a super duper menu. I look forward to seeing you on another WP Means Business bite-sized webinar.